Uh-oh, he's wearing the mouse sweater that can only mean one thing. That's right, everybody. Welcome back to another One Take. We take something off the screen, off the page, or out of my head, and we just share some thoughts in the moment. So this time we're going back at it with Boba Fett. Last time I talked about episodes 1 and 2, just overall thoughts, some cool moments, and some abstract ideas. We're going to be doing the same program this time. But before we get into it, I must say this Boba Fett loves his armor. I mean, why wouldn't you? I mean, it's some pretty cool stuff. But this guy will go to the ends of the earth to find his armor. I will give up in about 2 minutes looking for my phone before I use some doodad to make it to sing like, "Hey, I'm over here in your back pocket, you dummy." Like I don't know what it is, but like I give it a minute nowadays to find something until, oh, I guess it's just lost forever. Like, and I know this is used a lot, but the remote. And I know the moment I said that, a lot of people are like, "Oh, I know where this is going," because it doesn't matter. Even if the remote's on your phone or digital, or even if you're talking to the TV, which that one's a little scratchy. But you could be sitting on the couch watching whatever. A couple hours go by, and you go to grab the remote because some commercial or something that's interrupted your viewing pleasure has now deemed it necessary for you to change the screen. And so you go to do that, and the remote is gone. And you swear to yourself you just had it because you haven't moved. And it would be ridiculous if you lost the remote when you haven't moved. Now, if you're by yourself, that's fine, right? Quick panic attack, you get up, you flip out over everything, and eventually you find it right where it was, which is in plain sight. But the worst is when, you're not alone and this happens, right? You're sitting on the couch with other people, and a couple hours go by, and you start, "I swear I had it." You start talking to yourself. And of course, the other people are trying to watch whatever's on the TV. It's like, what are you looking for? And you're like, "Oh, well," because you don't want to admit it's the remote. Because if you admit it's the remote, I mean, by yourself, like I said, totally cool. But whether you're with people, because they're definitely going to see the remote in plain sight. And then they're going to look at your dummy self looking around for it like you can't see it, and it's gonna be all bad. It happens to me all the time. I'm like, "Oh, the remote," and like the thing that's in your lap. "Oh yeah, yeah, I meant my phone." You gotta switch it up real quick. But back to Boba Fett, he'll climb in through a pit full of acid twice, one time, all the times, to try and find his armor. So, with that, let's jump into the Book of Boba Fett, episodes 3 and 4, and we're going to do the same kind of program. First, overall thoughts. What a ride this has been. One thing that I really have really enjoyed is how they transition from going like from the past to the present. Like I talked a little bit about this in the last episode with like how he was healing and how his body's healing. He's starting to dream about the past and kind of relive some of those moments. But we're being pulled back and forth in a really like succinct way, and I really like the way because they're not doing it like the same get up and go like, "Oh, we're now going to the past," and, "Oh, it's the present." Like you stay in the past a lot longer than you think you're going to, and then sometimes you're pulled right into the future. And that happens in episode 3 with a giant Wookiee pulling Boba Fett out of the bacta tank and just throwing him across the floor. Oh my goodness, you're thinking, "Oh my god, this," and the scene it ended on in the past, you're like, "Oh wow." You're like, "Whoa, what?" And then all of a sudden, just so abruptly, you're just ripped out of that emotion into this gladiator world, because that's what this Wookiee is. He's a gladiator, just here to just mangle and tangle. And just the way that they formulated that structure, again, another nod to the storytelling. It's good times. And I also like I was talking about before too, and it's even more shown here because he really is starting to get to kind of the final stages of healing. Like as he starts to heal more and more, so does the traumas of the past, and so does like the traumas of the past start start having like resolutions, or start coming to full, circle, and we start seeing the full like encompass of everything he's kind of been through as he kind of comes into the full healed Boba Fett, ready to take on what's kind of been happening in the present time. And in the present time, he's kind of building up his army, or building up his tribe, taking the lessons and things that he learned throughout, this journey that we've kind of seen him on, and really apply that to kind of building up his forces and trying to see what he has in front of him, which is because there's a lot of, political stuff going on. There's a lot of like his assassination attempts going on. So, him in power has caused a vacuum, as in sense. And so it's encompassing a lot. So it's really exciting to kind of see this all unfold in these two chapters here. Cause, between the past and kind of the final of the Tuscans, and then meeting, Fennec, and that kind of relationship, and him and us starting to see him starting to put what he's learned about the Tuscans in his time into action, into kind of, in the past and now, because we start to see him, like, again, he's starting to form a tribe, and he's starting to utilize, what the tribe of the Tuscans kind of meant, like that loyalty that they had to each other and trust, and he's kind of bringing that into his own tribe and formulating a plan to kind of strike back. And it's really exciting stuff. So overall thoughts, 3 and 4, those are some good times. Now let's talk about some favorite moments, because boy, there was a lot of them, and a lot of hints to future stuff. Oh my goodness, it's just so much fun to watch. Because first of all, the Wookiee, well, the gladiator Wookiee, I mean, this guy is just, from the moment you see him, I think you see him in episode 2, whoa, he's like, one, he means business, and two, this guy just wants to get down with his fist. Okay, like, this guy, he just that is one of those things you just point and you go that way. Like, that's a Hulk scenario. Like, hey, smash. Like, there you go. Like, that's the guy that go over there. And he also has like a really interesting kind of like, not like story arc, but like kind of character development, and like, who he associates with, and Boba's Fett relationship, and how he kind of not molds him, but kind of shifts him from being an enemy into kind of being a part of what he's building. I mean, he's really putting some heavy hitters together. Because also we get to see a Rancor, and I didn't think we were going to see any of that since the original Star Wars. I mean, that thing is an ornery beast, and now Boba Fett is going to train one and then ride it. I mean, come on, that's going to be. I'm sold, and I can't, and I'm sorry. And I don't know if this is, it's not a criticism or anything. It's just the only thing I can think of. The trainer of the Rancor, Machete. I mean, I know he's done other stuff, and I really like him as an actor, but for whatever reason, there are those certain things where you get that title, and for him, he's got it. And I can't separate the two. But he's so good. I can't wait. I was so excited when he came on screen, and I can't wait to see like his like involvement with, of course, the Rancor, because he's the trainer, and kind of how his relationship and everything kind of unfolds with Boba Fett. But still, Machete is in Boba Fett, which is also just super cool. Oh, and then we have, of course, him stealing his ship back and taking revenge on those bikers, and, well, the Sarlacc pit. Also, him going back into the Sarlacc pit, which I talked at the beginning, without his armor, though, and you find out, like, the acid and the burning and the no. So, I mean, this guy's really going for it. And I mean, of course, we know he finds his armor, but who knew he would? I didn't know he went back in that thing. But then we also got to see my favorite thing, that little grenade seismic thing that just blows everything up. Loved me some of that. And so, really, and it's setting the stage for, because I think we're about to see The Mandalorian. I mean, that's right. Come on now. So, we're in it to win it. Episodes 3 and 4, I was super excited about. All right, so now we're going to talk about some abstract ideas. And, these are just like thoughts that I'm having like in the moment while watching this. They may have nothing to do with the show, and I might just pull bits and pieces out of, this whole thing. So have fun or don't have fun. Do whatever you want. That's always my, Be respectful towards others. Well, don't listen to me. Just do whatever you want. But be respectful or be nice, whatever the going phrases are, or do whatever you want. But you know what I'm saying here. Um, so abstract ideas. One, I really want to touch on the whole like healing of the body and mind because we really see that once he's fully healed up, I mean, he still acknowledges that the internal wounds and some of those dreams aren't fully resolved yet. So we might see like more about that. But, to have that acknowledgement or that understanding, I thought was really interesting for him to be able to, at least understand on some level that, these things that he's been through are wounds and that they are healing. And I guess his whole thing, or maybe he does know because he keeps pushing forward and he keeps, preserving or he keeps going forward and he doesn't stop going forward. And I think that's like super important because while like, of course, there's all these wounds and things from the past, he keeps on to the next and on to the next. He understands that these things are still with him and that like everything else, it'll take time. And he's taking those steps to heal himself, but he's also moving forward. And sometimes the best way to help heal those wounds is to keep moving forward. And that's one of the things that he definitely is doing. He's also starting to build a tribe, which is one thing, I've mentioned a few times, but he's going about it in a completely different way. He's trying to build, trust and loyalty between, him and, the people he's working for and making it almost a shared, leadership experience to where, yes, I might be in charge, but I'm going to protect you. If you protect me, I'm going to protect you. Like this isn't one of those things where it's, I'm the big bad and you do everything I say and you're my henchman. And if you're out, ooh. No, you protect me, I protect you. Like this is a system that works. It's beneficial for the both of us. And it's one thing that like we see with him and Fennec for sure, because of course Fennec has a lot more to offer, but still like we start to see like his purposes for wanting to build a tribe and how he's going to do it are completely different from like the bounty hunter way or, even normal business to business like we've seen out in the outskirts. Like this is a guy who's learned a lot and he wants to, instead of being the gun, he wants to be, the person aiming it. And he thinks by him being the one that aiming it, he'll fire less shots because his whole thing is like, we all work hard. Let's make the business be the business, right? And let's all benefit from it. When we all benefit, we'll all work together. And it's really interesting, like new take on the way to do business in the outskirts and just like a general nod to maybe something, that we could take out and just, that understanding of how that kind of relationship can work and how strong and beneficial it is because without his structure of setting that up, he would not have been protected in all the ways he has. Like every time he meets like a new like ally and the way that he phrases and brings them on board, like they know that when they show their loyalty, he's going to do everything he can to keep them protected and keep them, safe and the money flowing and all that, good times. So because I think that also ties into this last point that I thought was really interesting is his understanding of greed. He's not a greedy person, but he understands it, and maybe he's had tendencies in the past and he's learned from those because he really understands like not only like the what greed is, but what the intention of greed can do. Even when he's making like alliances with other people and things like that, like he understands what greed can do, and to not necessarily just think that everyone's gonna like be with him. He has the fortitude of understanding, okay, these guys want this, like this is their goal. So as long as we maintain that as the goal, they're less likely to like attack me or shaft me or go behind my back. And his understanding of that, of the pressure, the intention that greed sometimes presents is really an interesting factor because it's as a leader, he can really like utilize that in a way to, to work in his advantage instead of it having it being consumed by, which we see as a lot of these people in power in this area. Their greed is so much, that's why they backstab, that's why they're fighting all the time, and that's why business is never good business. And so he's going to try and change all of that, or shift it, or present a new way of doing it. So I can't wait to see what happens in the next few episodes, because we're also gearing up for a giant war. So, episodes 3 and 4, let's keep it rolling and hanging tight. Thanks for hanging out in this another one take, and we'll catch you guys all in the next one. Until next time, bye.